As a very young reporter at Radio Clyde, I was on night shift, and there was a gruesome story of a woman taxi driver being found dead on the south side of Glasgow. She was from Rutherglen. Most of the night I knew her name and was in cooperation with the police, holding that back. The police, for operational reasons, often ask journalists to do that. Just before 7 in the morning, they said it's okay to release her name. Her name was Cathy McCord. And in that 7 a.m. bulletin, I broadcast her name for the first time. At 7:10, her husband phoned me up directly. I took the call. He said, "You've just told me my wife's been murdered." And I felt shocked to the core that I had broken some kind of confidence or whatever. The truth is, I believe now that he had heard it said in public for the first time, and that's a second grief he's having to deal with. He was in utter shock. As journalists, we have to be very, very careful to work with the authorities to get information out when we all agree that it's right to go to get it out. But if we jump the gun, then we're causing huge problems. You're allowed to say to a journalist, "I can give you this information, but there's an embargo on it, there's a deadline, only after that time." In my experience, journalists will hold that embargo. But if something is time sensitive, or it can only be released after a certain time, make it absolutely plain with the journalists, so you know and they know exactly where you both stand. Otherwise you get a situation like that there, where I felt for a moment I had jumped the gun. It turned out just to be a lesson, another lesson to learn, that it is always vital to have the backing of organisations you're working with, in this case the police, to release information when agreed, which we did.